Hey, so I wasn't really planning on making another video, but I kind of started thinking about something. It literally, it just started downpouring as soon as I started this video. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Jesus Christ indeed. If he's real, he fucking hates me right now. Well, probably not for making a video, but he probably hates me for a lot of other reasons. Anyway, well, I've already forgotten what I wanted to talk about. Anyway, I think I remember. I was thinking about something because I was watching a video. I was watching a wavy web surf video or surf. I think it's just surf. I don't remember. He makes really good videos, and he made a video talking about a bunch of what was it, like incel psychopaths or some shit like that or something like that. I think that was the thing. I don't know. I don't pay attention much, but I somehow still retain everything. But I was watching that video, and I just have to say, I've said this before, but I hate the word incel solely because the internet has, it's one of those words the internet has used in the wrong way, you know? Kind of like how everyone on Twitter calls everyone a bigot. So it's almost getting to the point where it's like the word bigot almost doesn't mean what it means anymore because Twitter uses it for everything. That's how incel is. Incel is one of those words that gets thrown around whenever a man does anything. Like if a man so much as says hello to a woman, incel. A man so much as uh, thinks about a woman, incel. A man has never hugged a woman, incel. Has never had sex, incel. Like it doesn't matter. Like, well, that's actually the definition. A man who's never had. That one was the actual definition. I get distracted easy, but that's not about this. And this video, I was probably gonna title it something like breakdown or the big breakdown or something about breaking down. And it's for once, it's not me having a meltdown. But I was watching this video and I've watched a lot of like murder stuff, like a lot like ID Network, I believe was the channel. ID Network could have like a lot of stuff about like family murderers or sibling murders, relationship murders, stranger murder, school murder. You know, they had like all those. They had like all these like types of like different like murder stories about like Danielle was a 24-year-old woman who worked a basic office job until one day she got under her boss's skin and she was never seen again. You know, like stuff like that. Obviously, that's a bit like hyperbole of sorts. I don't think that's the correct word. I like to use big words without knowing what they mean half the time, but I don't think that was hyperbole. It was an exaggeration, right? Usually they're like, usually it's more stern. It's like Danielle was a 24-year-old woman. She worked at something and something company, and she had a really close relationship with her boss. Unbeknownst to her husband, she was actually cheating with her boss. But then one day she went for work and she did not come home. You know, it's usually more like that. It's more stern. But I always think about it, and I always think about like crime, right? I already talked about crime some time ago. I don't know why I just started going like ar. I talked about crime before, and I don't get it, right? Like I'm sure there's like reasons for like certain crimes, but like like I do believe in like self-defense. I believe it shouldn't be assault if you defend yourself. Like if someone's attacking you and you fight back, I believe that shouldn't be a crime. If someone breaks in your house and you shoot them, that shouldn't be a crime. I think that there are specific actions that should not be deemed criminal, like that in particular, because those are self-defense cases. I'm not like condoning cocaine usage or like human trafficking shit. Like there's no excuse for that. I mean, not unless there's like some like evil deity that comes down and like one man is like has a cocaine put in front of him and he's like, you have to snort that cocaine or all of humanity dies. In which case, then I would deem it not a crime. However, it's a crime overall, and that scenario is never going to happen as far as I know. Not to mention, if that scenario was to happen, why would the deity come down and be like snort cocaine? He could do anything. He could make the dude cut his dick off. He could make some lady fucking ride a unicycle. Like he could do anything. Why would he choose to make him snort cocaine? I don't know why my examples are so fucking absurd. But my point being is I always question, I guess, like the psychology. Is that the right word? I think psychology of of what makes people have these breakdowns into full criminality. You know what I mean? I think criminality is a word. Once again, I've been saying a bunch of words that I'm not even sure are actual words. But I always wonder it, right? Because I've talked about my interest in like understanding the human mind, except my interest in the human mind was always more of like what makes a human mind more interested in certain things, right? Like what I mean by that, because I don't know if I've ever really talked about it, I was always fascinated in the human mind when it came to sexual type stimulation related things, right? That's something I was always fascinated in, which is why at one point I even talked about my own little fucking stupid perverted mind where I said it's like 50% I'm just a pervert and 50% I'm interested in the science behind it. Like I'm interested in like what in someone's brain would make them find a specific race of person attractive compared to another. What makes someone like something like ass or thighs or feet or armpits or any of that shit? Like I always loved the psychology of what makes someone want these specific things. And it doesn't and but I also like this like talk of what makes a human mind just completely fucking go off the rails and do something horrible, right? Like it's different from like petty theft where someone steals like a fucking bag of Skittles from a gas station or something. That's like whatever. But what makes someone just like pull a gun out and completely cap someone in the fucking skull? What makes someone go out and commit horrible sexual acts on unsuspecting victims? What makes people look at children and think I'm going to do horrible things? Like that's what I want to understand. Because like I can Google that shit, right? But like it's gonna be a bunch of big words, and I'm gonna look at it and just be like, ah, yes, the neural receptors. I understand. Ah, yes, oxytocin. Or like I'm just gonna look at these words and be like, yo, I can barely spell a word past 3 letters. You expect me to fucking know what any of this shit means? Which is a bit just fucking jokey because, like I said, I like to understand the same. I might not understand all of it, but I usually like eventually find like a dumbed down version where I can at least understand it. Because it's different when like every word is like the neural receptors go into the flabbergasta and they confabulate into a scrumpulish, and I'm just like, yeah, cool, bro. I completely blacked out whenever you said the very first letter. Like like I understand some of it, right? But I don't understand like when it gets like super insanely scientific. But like obviously there's like dumbed down articles for people like me who are a complete fucking idiot and and honestly can like read like a fucking dying animal. That wasn't even a sentence. I slurred that whole fucking sentence. Anyway, my point being is I'm always interested in like the psychology of this. Of like what exactly just makes someone just straight go, you know what? I'm gonna be a fucking horrible human being. I'm gonna be a monster, right? It's just like one of those things where I just like my tiny reptile brain like can't understand it, right? Like I'm just like it's too small. It's like a pea. My brain is like a pea, not PEA. You know the food pea. My brain is not a liquid, though. I'm surprised it's not a fucking liquid at this point. But I'm always like fascinated in it, just because it's just like I want to understand the leap. Like I want to understand the leap of like someone who just has like a normal life. Everything's good, you know, they have a stable job, a loving family. And then just out of nowhere that person, you know, just picks up a gun. They're just like, "Man, I should just really kill my whole family." You know, like I want to understand like that. And not to mention like when I watched that video I was talking about like incel psychopaths, I genuinely have to ask the question of how the fuck does your brain connect not having sex to murdering women? Like that is something I genuinely cannot fathom. Like the idea of like your brain's like, man, I've never had sex with a woman. What the fuck? Women just don't want to have sex with me. I should kill them. Like how do these brains like leap like that, right? Now, of course I'm not gonna get it. I'm just some fucking dude. I'm just some dude who sits in his room. Like I've never like picked up a knife and thought to myself, man, wouldn't it be cool if I just stabbed someone? I've never seen like a person walk outside and been like, man, I wonder if I could do horrible things to that person. Like, no, I've never done that. I literally, like, like the most violent thing I've ever done, well, to date, I guess, the most violent thing I've done is I killed someone in a video game. Oh no. But the most violent thing I've done overall was get into a fight in school. That's about it. But I feel like a lot of people got in a fight in the school, and it's not like I was like, aiming to kill. It was more of just trying to, stop getting beat up because I got bullied. So it was more of me fighting back. But I don't know. That's like the most violent thing I've done was basically just fight back against a bully in school. That's about it. But like I don't like I've been mad at people. I've thought about just like hitting someone, right? Like I've definitely had like thoughts where someone's like made me so angry where I just kind of thought like, man, I just kind of want to punch them. But I've never thought to myself like, man, what if I just fucking cut them open? What if I did horrible things to this person? Like I just can't understand this like leap in logic. And that's weird because I'm definitely not like a mentally normal individual. Like I don't want to say like mentally I'm not mentally stable because saying I'm not mentally stable would imply that like I'm like bouncing off the wall psychotic, but I'm not. I'm just not mentally okay, I guess. I'm mentally dying inside, I guess. So I guess it's completely different than being mental instability type shit. Whatever. I have slurred most of my sentence and have said nonsensical sentences with words that I'm pretty sure are not words half the time and sentences that just don't make sense. How many times am I going to say sense? But yeah, I don't know. I was watching this video and I was just kind of thinking like, damn, people really just fucking like go from like normal to like insane in like a fraction of a second. Like people really just like get horny one day and think I'm gonna inflict my horny on like some fucking unsuspecting innocent person, or they just have like a loving family and a loving life, and they're just like, man, I really want to be soaked in the blood of my family right now. And I just like look at these things and like every time I see these videos of like murder, it's like, sometimes there's like things where it's like, oh, jealousy, cheating, backstabbing, like all these things that like would make someone like set someone off to be this way. But I still don't understand it because like I've definitely been stabbed in the back, not like physically, like the metaphorical stab in the back. Like someone betrays you. That form. I haven't actually been stabbed. I'm glad I've never been stabbed. I don't want to feel what being stabbed feels like. I really don't. But like I've definitely been betrayed. I've definitely been picked on. I've been treated horribly. But I've still never thought like, damn, I'm gonna do horrible things to that person. The most I thought is like, man, I just kind of want to like blow off steam by just like punching them. Not even it doesn't even have to be like in the face, just like a punch to the stomach. Which I mean, technically, can be bad because Houdini died from being punched in the stomach. But you know what I mean? The most violent thoughts I've had about other people was just like punching them once. Not even like jumping on them and just beating the shit out of them. Just like letting that frustration out and just like one punch and then just walking away, right? Obviously, I haven't fought anyone since I was in school or since I was like, I'd say like 12. Like, I literally have not physically hit anyone since I was 12. So, I mean, hooray. But I don't know. I just can't understand this. Like, I can't understand, like, just wanting to fucking end someone's life over nothing. And, like, sometimes there's, like, people who do it for, like, money, and it's like, I don't even know if, like, I don't know what's worse at this point. Killing someone for no reason or killing someone for money. I mean, both are pretty. I think at the end of the day, I think murder is just bad in general. Hey, here's a hot take that no one's gonna believe. Murder, it's bad, real bad. Rape, bad, really bad. Arson, oh, don't get me started, bad. Assault, that's bad. It's bad. Abuse, that's bad. Hot takes. That's my hot take. Those things are bad. I know people aren't going to agree with me, but okay, whatever. I'm already done with this joke. I have a habit of cutting my jokes off like right before the punchline or right at the end of the joke solely because I get bored of the joke. I went too far with the joke and I was just like, okay, I'm already bored of this. Whatever, moving on. But I always want to like know like what in someone's brain just like snaps at that point. Because like obviously there's people who are like born unstable. Sometimes there's people who get it from like life. Like honestly, I think with like the life I lived, I should be happy that the worst I got was depression and anxiety, knowing that people who went through hell, either the same things I went through or even less than what I went through, end up being psychotic. And the more I look at it, I'm like, damn, I actually kind of got lucky. If I had known that depression and anxiety was the best thing I could have got out of this, man, I would have been happier about that. I would have just straight went in and been like, hey, at least I'm not a fucking killer. At least I think. Like I said, I have a fear of doing something illegal while sleepwalking. That's just a random thing. I have I have this inane fear that I'm going to commit a crime while sleepwalking. Like I'm gonna wake up covered in blood, or wake up with like a bag of money, or like wake up with like bruises on my knuckles, or just like something horrible, right? I don't know why. I always feel like I'm gonna commit a crime when I'm like sleeping. Like I'm gonna wake up and just like, because how would you explain that to the police? How do you say like, oh, I committed a crime while sleepwalking? Like they're not gonna fucking believe that. It's like when people use the whole like, oh, I killed someone because I was possessed by a demon. But I don't know. I have a weird fear of committing a crime while sleepwalking. Like I don't know why. I just every time I go to sleep, I feel like I'm gonna wake up like with like police like pointing guns at me, just being like, get on the floor, get on the floor," and I'm just like, oh, what the fuck? I just woke up. What could have happened? I was sleeping, and they're like, yeah, you just killed 10 people, and I'm like, oh shit. Like I don't know. I don't know why. For some reason, I feel like I'm going to do something. Like I don't even sleepwalk either. That's the thing. I don't sleepwalk, and yet for some reason I have like a fear that I'm going to commit a crime while I'm asleep. Which I don't know if anyone ever has. I'm sure somebody has, but who fucking knows, dude? But yeah, I don't know. This isn't me talking about something I just always think about, the psychology of a bad person, I guess. Or maybe not even a bad person, just a criminal, I guess. Because a bad person would just be like, oh, well, a bad person could just be chalked up to ego or narcissism. But a criminal is chalked up to many things that my tiny brain will never understand, because my brain does not have enough space to even, barely function. I don't know. It's just an interesting thing to me for some reason. Probably because I'm stupid. I don't know. I'm basically a reptile right here. I need to go in my fucking heat bath or whatever the fuck. I don't know anything about reptiles. I don't even know why I'm talking about reptiles. So yeah, I have no idea what this was. I just like understand the psychology of people and whatnot. Though, like I said, I prefer to understand the perverted psychology rather than the criminal psychology. I'd rather try to unravel the mysteries of why someone's brain is more attracted to like a black girl than they are to a white girl, or why some lady is like more attracted to like being whipped, or why someone is more attracted to fucking ass over tits, anything like that. I'm more interested in perverted psychology rather than like criminal psychology, but I'm still fascinated by criminal psychology. I keep saying psychology as if I think that's the correct wording. I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure. But it sounds a lot smarter than just saying criminal brains and pervert brains. I'd rather understand the brain of a criminal. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck this was, so yeah, whatever.